And welcome to the Cardinals Nest here on HBC Channel 25. Dean Beckman along with Sports Information Director Donny Nadeau. And this is the last Cardinals Nest for the 2010 and 2011 season. We've come a long way in a year, Donny. We've covered a lot of topics, and this is our last one. And we'll finish off our interview segment this year with Pat Jacobsen, the assistant baseball coach. We'll touch on baseball a little bit more in our middle segment today.
Yeah, we've had Pat on before. He was on a couple years ago, and one of the other duties that Pat has at St. Mary's is he's the game support person for the men's hockey team and also their announcer. And I remember a couple years ago we actually had Pat take us out of a show by introducing the starting lineup of the men's hockey team. So I told him that we probably are going to ask him to take us out of this show as well, but he also said, I'm not going to do it. So we'll see if we can get him to do his little voice in some type of fashion, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, his focus right now has to be on baseball, and we'll focus on that in just a little bit here, Donnie. But the softball team also in action, and as we speak right now, really battling and kind of in a good position for that fourth and final playoff berth in the MIAC. And we see there that right now they're actually tied for third with Bethel. And a big doubleheader win over Hamlin kind of puts St. Mary's over the top. Now, there still are conference games to be played, so anything can happen, but they are sitting in pretty good position right now in the conference.
Yeah, no question. You look at those standings right there and tied for third with 6 games remaining. The nice thing for St. Mary's, now obviously you have to play all the games, but you look at those standings and the 2 teams that they still have to play along with Gustavus are St. Catherine and Carleton, neither of which were in the top 8 in the standings. So they've got some games that certainly they're going to be favored to win, but as they always say, you've got to make sure you take care of your own business. They control their own destiny. If they can come up with at least 4 and probably, for sure 5 wins in their last 6 games, they'll be in the conference tournament. Anything less than 4 wins, and they're going to be hoping for some help. But right now they're sitting in a good position. They're playing very good softball, and they've got some opponents now that they should be able to take care of in St. Catherine and Carleton. Hopefully they'll go out and do the job just like they did last weekend against Hamlin. A huge doubleheader sweep, winning 4-1 and 7-0. Hamlin's one of those teams that Coach Miller wasn't sure what to expect. Hamlin's one of those that was in the fight for one of those playoff spots, and St. Mary's really played extremely well and got the job done. 2 very impressive and very convincing wins all the way around. They were in complete control from start to finish, and that second game to win 7-0 is pretty impressive.
Well, I've got to tell you, before that doubleheader against Hamlin, I don't know about you, but I was getting nervous about the softball team. Expectations so high coming into the year. And then they had lost 1 of 2 against Concordia, and you started to think, uh-oh, just a little bit. Then they go out and get bombed a couple of times by Eau Claire. Nothing to be ashamed of. That's the 25th ranked team in the country. But it was getting me a little bit nervous.
Absolutely, and for them, and really it says a lot about this team and what they're capable of doing, because you're absolutely right. They did not play well in the second game against Concordia, and they played very poorly against Eau Claire in those two shutout losses, and then for them to turn around and play outstanding softball, both offensively and defensively against Hamlin was outstanding and very, very important for them in terms of the conference tournament. We talk to just about any coach that we talk to. Non-conference games are great. It's great when you win, but the important thing that they are always focusing on is the conference play, and for them to be able to put those 2 losses to Eau Claire aside and focus on the 2 games against Hamlin was outstanding for them, and they really did play very well. It's the time of year where we start talking about outstanding players and players that are doing a great job, and really with this team, it's kind of fitting that among their top performers are their seniors. They've got 4 seniors on this team, and they'll be honoring them on Saturday against Carleton. Carleton, that's their senior day, and Joanna Mangan and Katie Gannon and Kelly Simons and Mal Betzold have been really the keystones and the cornerstones to this team for the last 4 years for 3 of them, and then Joanna joined as a sophomore. So they've really been the cornerstone of this team. And you look at a player like Katie Gannon, who's been, we seem to say her name all the time. Mm-hmm. She's got, she's hitting well over 300. She's played in 146 straight games. She's played every game at shortstop since she was a freshman here. And if you think about that, that's a pretty impressive number. And you look at Kelly Simons has played 143 of the 146 games, and Mal's played 140 of the 146 games. So you've got some players that are providing a lot of stability, and it makes Coach Miller's job that much easier. And I know that on Saturday it's going to be it's going to be an emotional time for those seniors, but also hopefully a time for them to celebrate and realize what great contributions they made to this program. And they've been outstanding players. And Mal Betzold, both pitching, defense at first base, and offense, she's really a three-pronged threat, and is really having a great senior year, and it's awesome for the four of them to be able to go out and hopefully with a conference tournament.
Well, I really felt coming in that Mallory Betzold was kind of the key to the season. And hitting, she's at .353, pitching, her ERA .245, probably having a career year for somebody who has had good years up to this point.
Absolutely. 245 and 12 wins are both career highs for Mal, and like you said, 353, that's the best she's hit. She's a great hitter, and this year she's really showing that, and it certainly makes it easy for Coach Miller to keep penciling those people into the lineup, in that you know what you're going to get offensively, you know what you're going to get defensively. Kelly Simons might be one of the best third basemen that St. Mary's has ever had. She's just phenomenal over at third, and does a great job, and offensively she gets some big hits when they need them, and that's what you're looking for. And you've got Joe behind the plate. Wasn't even going to play as a freshman, and then came as a sophomore, and I think Mal and a couple of the other people convinced her to play. She's been awesome behind the plate, and it's really the four of them are outstanding players, and really deserve some recognition. And like I said, hopefully we'll be talking about them playoff wise after this weekend.
From the video that we saw, are the face masks, is that a new rule? Is it optional?
It's optional. It's not a new rule, but obviously for safety reasons, they've seen a lot of people that are getting foul balls that come off of the bat and catch people in the face, and you see a lot of teams now that are wearing the face masks, and I think you just notice them because they're new helmets and they look good
right.
to go with the new jerseys. So
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's sharp. Yeah. All right, let's talk baseball now, and the St. Mary's University baseball team. Donnie, as I look at the schedule, there's a whole lot of writing in there saying canceled and postponed, and that's kind of been Nick Winicke's year this year.
It's been a crazy year for both baseball and softball, in that it seems like every day is being canceled. You just look at the schedule this week. Baseball played on Monday against Hamlin. They were supposed to play Tuesday against Stout, got postponed, moved to Friday. Then Thursday, now they're supposed to play Winona State in a 9-inning game, weather permitting. Then they play Stout on Friday, and then they play at McAllister on Saturday. So they've got boom, boom, boom games. Softball was supposed to play on Wednesday against St. Kate's, got rained out. They moved that until Friday, so now they're looking at playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's a really busy time, and it makes it makes it difficult for the coaches as well as the players. And I think that's something we'll talk to Pat about in the middle segment, is just trying to keep people prepared when you really don't know if you're going to get to play or not.
And the baseball team on an 8-game slide right now, Donnie, and I've got to believe that when you're a young team like St. Mary's is, having all of these weather problems doesn't help the situation any, as we see the scores from some of their recent games.
Not only that, but you look at the younger players, they don't play nearly as many games in high school, and so you're adding up the games, and I think the fact that they're still practicing inside on days when they because of the weather, and so you're not able to get into any type of a rhythm or any type of a flow, and I think that's especially affecting them offensively. Pitching, they've been doing an outstanding job, getting great performances from a number of different people, but offensively right now they are struggling a bit. They were no hit against St. John's. They managed just 2 hits in the first game against Hamlin, managed 5 hits in the second game against Hamlin. So their offense is not doing the job that it's capable of doing, and I'm sure that's something that Coach Jacobsen and Coach Winicke know that they need to pick up. They've got to be able to hit the ball better than they are, because they are getting decent pitching that's good enough to get them wins, and they're just not able to get the job done. You look at the game against St. John's last week when Gary Seifert had a no-hitter going into the 6th inning, gave up 4 hits and 3 runs, and they lose 3-0. So they're getting the pitching. They've just got to get that offense going.
Well, and right now, too, it's not a power team, just 4 home runs on the season, so they need to be able to string a lot of hits together, and that's just not happening
Absolutely.
enough.
They're getting people on base, and they're getting them into position. They're just not getting that timely hit that they need, and that's the game of baseball, is you need to be able to come through when it matters most, and right now they're not able to get those hits when they really need them.
Kurt Swanson and Vince Lulick, though, they continue to play really well. Kurt hitting .373, Vince at .345. One player we had on the program here earlier this year, Donnie, was Cody Fenning. he's struggling a little bit at the plate at 245.
Yeah, he's not hitting as well as everybody would have hoped, but obviously he's playing very good in the field. They've got him moving between second base and shortstop. He's doing an outstanding job there. And again, I think, you know, he's coming off of an injury last year that sidelined him for the whole year. So, you know, they weren't really sure what to expect from him in terms of playing a full season, and I think that he's still feeling some lingering effects of that injury, and that certainly is hampering him a little bit at the plate. But you know, it's a team game, and you're certainly not going to be able to put you know, their struggles right now on one player or one individual, and you know, they just need to continue to battle and continue to play. There's still a lot of baseball that they have to play. They've got a 9-inninger. You know, they've got basically 2 doubleheaders and a 9-inning game this weekend, and then they still have St. Thomas coming up the following weekend. So it's a busy week for them.
Right.
Plus, they've got their senior day next Wednesday. They graduate 8 seniors, so they've got a big senior class, and again, a group of individuals that you know, are very deserving of some accolades and just some, you know, a time to reflect and a time to you know, feel good about what they've accomplished here at St. Mary's.
Well, and Chris Bogey certainly continues to pitch very well. His ERA still below 4, and so a lot of good things on the horizon. Hopefully now they can get some games in. We're running out of dates to make them up, so hopefully Mother Nature cooperates this upcoming weekend. And Donnie, finally in this segment, track and field. It was the Winona State University Easter Invitational that was last on the docket there for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and you know, Coach McMahon was happy with the way that the team performed. He didn't have his full team there because of the Easter break, obviously. But Ryan Wackenfuss was second in the javelin, and Andrew Brigham was third in the hammer. And you know, Brittany Keene did a great job in the 400, finishing 5th. You know, certainly solid performances all the way around. Andrew certainly can do better than you know, than his throw there. But also the weather was you know, certainly not conducive to an outdoor track meet. It was cold, it was windy, it was rainy. So you know, even the track and field teams are having trouble with Mother Nature. They were actually supposed to compete on Tuesday at La Crosse, and that meet was canceled because of rain. So even the track teams, which usually compete in any conditions, are feeling the effects of Mother Nature,
right,
and the wrath that she has this spring.
As long as it doesn't lightning, they're usually out there.
Right.
However, the St. Mary's will host its own invitational this upcoming weekend here on Saturday, April 30th, Donnie, and hopefully I know there is some rain in the forecast for that day, but for those who would like to come out and watch, St. Mary's hosts a really nice track meet, and a lot of good teams coming for this one, and usually it starts around 10 o'clock.
Yep, and Coach McMahon's very excited, obviously, for this meet because it is their one outdoor home meet, and it's a chance for his athletes to run on their own track, compete on their own track, a beautiful track. You know, most of the MIAC got to see last year when we hosted the MIAC Outdoor Championships. But it's a great meet, and like you said, there's a lot of teams, and Coach McMahon figures with the rain out on Tuesday, there are going to be even more teams that are going to want to compete this weekend because they need those meets as they get ready for their conference championships and for the NCAA Outdoors. So it should be a great meet, and hopefully Mother Nature will be nice to us, but it does look like it's going to rain, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for this segment of the Cardinals Nest. Stay tuned, though. Coming in next, we'll have assistant baseball coach Pat Jacobsen here on the Cardinals Nest on HBC.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
What are you so excited about?
HBC's Refer a Friend promo. Do you have HBC?
No.
Well, that is a problem I can help fix and get a discount on my HBC account in the meantime.
How so?
When you refer a friend and they sign up for HBC services, you both get discounts. Not to mention great service and support from HBC.
We should tweet all our friends about Refer a Friend from HBC.
Great idea.
Tweet, tweet. Hey, you, tweet.
Oh, Robin, you're so behind the times.
To compete for the Sprint Cup Championship, you need to communicate effectively with your team. We're going to practice pit stops, pal. Screw you.
Respect between drivers is the hallmark of our sport.
Of course, your crew chief has to stare down the pressure every single lap.
For all 4 tires. No, 2 tires. 2 tires.
You haven't really seen the race until you watch Inside NASCAR.
Inside NASCAR, Wednesdays at 9, 8 Central on Showtime. New season premieres February 16th.
Hey, I'm Buddha, inviting you to join me for a brand new show here on HBC TV 25 called Real Attractions. We'll show you trailers from the latest movies to hit theaters and also what's being released on DVD that week. Plus, you have a chance to win free movies by registering at my.hbci.com/realattractions. But you gotta watch to win. So check out Real Attractions here on HBC TV 25, hosted by yours truly. which is why we didn't call it Real Attractive.
And we're back here on the Cardinals Nest. Dean Beckman along with Donny Nadeau, the Sports Information Director for St. Mary's, and Pat Jacobsen joining us now, assistant coach for the baseball team. And Donny, of all of our guests on the Cardinals Nest, Pat is always the least nervous, all right? Because, you know, he does the PA announcing for the hockey, has done basketball as well, so this is easy stuff for you, isn't it?
This is like second nature to me. So yeah. I know Donnie's been giving me some garbage in the office about being nervous, and he's going to grill me, but I welcome it.
Right.
I welcome it, Donnie.
Yeah, if he's the worst you face in your day, Pat, that's not so bad.
If you could get a close-up of Pat again, I think one of the things we need to make note of, people might not recognize Pat shaved off his mustache, so
yes.
He's looking clean-shaven for today's
yes.
today's event, and you know, we're happy about that too.
It was an attempt to have a little good luck with the mustache, but unfortunately it
see, that would have been
short-lived.
That's why I didn't recognize him and called him Matt Damon in the hallway that one day, right?
Pat, you know, it's interesting that you kind of said you hope for a little bit of luck, and really, it sounds funny when you're 8-22, but a little bit of luck is really what you guys could have used to turn a season that's 8-22 really to probably a 500 season.
Yeah, and it's been frustrating from that aspect that we've had a tough time with scoring runs and getting timely hits, and it seems to be when we do get the timely hits and score runs, we're not pitching and playing defense very well, and vice versa. You know, we'll get great pitching. For instance, that game one against St. John's, you guys mentioned in the previous segment. Mm-hmm. You know, Gary had a no-no through 6, and then we ended up losing that game. But it's been frustrating, and a couple bounces our way that didn't go, that went against us, that go for us, and we're 500 or better. It's been a frustrating year from that aspect, but I have to give credit to every one of the players, and especially the upperclassmen. The seniors have done a great job of keeping us in line, keeping us playing hard, and that's one thing we really never have to worry about with our guys. They're always working hard, and they're always trying to get better.
You know, one of the things I'm impressed with is you have a number of players who have switched positions this season. You know, talk about some of them and the difficulty of transitioning, trying to do that, and still hit well at the plate like a Vince Lulick has.
Yeah, it's very difficult for a player to switch positions, something they've been comfortable in high school. Maybe they come in as a shortstop or a second baseman. But the one thing that we're very upfront with players when we recruit them is that we like players that are able to do multiple positions, because there's a lot of things that happen, injuries, slumps. One player will get hot. We need to find a way to get him into the lineup. And it is tough if someone's comfortable with one aspect to bring him into another completely different environment. It can affect you at the plate. So the one thing that we do when we're in a situation where we move people is basically just try to build the confidence. I mean, build the confidence. They work hard at practice, and we try to get them as many reps as we can, because confidence is so key in baseball. Whether it's high or low. If it's low, you're in a tough time. If it's high, you know, you're living life very, very happy. But the confidence is such a huge thing when it comes to switching positions, and we've been in position with injuries. We've had to switch some players around, but they've been a lot of it's been successful due to the players' hard work and you know, the team and the coaching staff instilling the confidence in the player that they're able to do this.
Talk a little bit, you know, you'd mentioned that you've got a bunch of upperclassmen who have really provided leadership when you've needed it. Obviously, I mentioned in the first segment you've got 8 seniors that are graduating. Talk a little bit about those 8 and, you know, and what they've brought to this team in terms of leadership, and really what they're leaving as their legacy heading out as graduating seniors.
With such a big senior class, we're kind of high on both ends of the spectrum. We have a very high senior class, but we also have, you know, 14 freshmen on our roster. So. We need that leadership from the upperclassmen, especially from, I mean, a pitching staff. We have, you know, Sam Levison, Andrew Ruff, Gary Seifert, Chris Bogey, David Timmons have been phenomenal with our pitching staff. With kind of showing how the collegiate game goes, because it's a very large adjustment from high school to college, and they've been very good with bringing those young players along, the freshmen, even the sophomores that didn't get a lot of time last year, to build them up and say this is how college baseball works. From a position player standpoint, you know, Andrew Warren has been phenomenal. Chris Bogey also with the first baseman has been, you know, absolutely phenomenal with providing leadership to the players and just basically keeping us confident and keeping us working hard when times have been pretty tough. They've done an absolutely phenomenal job.
Well, and from a pitching standpoint, Chris Bogey has had such a good season. You know, kind of one of those players who, you know, I don't know what you were expecting out of him on the mound this year, but he has definitely developed into your ace.
Chris has had a phenomenal year. Without pitching last year, it was kind of like you were saying, we weren't sure what we were going to get out of Chris, but he has that bulldog mentality that when times are tough, I'm going to go out and I'm going to give my best for my team. He's a very selfless player, and I think that's really helped him on the mound, is his ability to basically take over a team and say, hop on my back, guys, I'm going to lead us. And that's what's provided him a lot of success, is just his mentality, his confidence has been great. And Gary and Andrew are two players that I think with some luck the other way, we could be looking at having a staff of 2 or 3 all-conference pitchers. But unfortunately, baseball is a cruel game sometimes. But that doesn't take away, definitely, record is something that we really don't look at a whole lot when we look at players' success, especially pitching-wise. They've been phenomenal all year. All of our senior pitchers have been well. David Timmons and Sam Levison have been 2 of our more consistent players out of the bullpen. So, like I was saying, a little luck the other way, and we could have a staff full of all-conference pitchers.
You know, you have a couple other seniors that, you know, really, I really enjoy watching play in Jake Lechner and Joey O'Neill. Joey O'Neill might be one of my favorite players, and he doesn't play a whole lot, but he's always enthusiastic. He's always upbeat. He's always, you know, the first one running out to greet a pitcher or greet the team as they're coming in after a good inning. And you know, you need those kind of people as well. Those role players that really, whenever you get they get a chance, they make the most of it.
Joey's the spark plug of the team. Whether it's, you know, starting, you know, when we gets to start, you know, as a leadoff hitter, when he comes off the bench, he provides that instant spark right away. And it seems to be whenever Joey's in the game, everyone on the bench is just a little bit more energetic. He brings that to the team, and that's very valuable. And it's tough for a player as a senior to not get a lot of innings. But all credit to Joey. He's been phenomenal, both at practice and in games, with his attitude, his mentality, and like you said, that energy that he brings. It feeds him, but it feeds everyone else on the team as well. And, you know, Jake, coming off of his injury in Arizona where he dislocated his shoulder, he came back a lot quicker than we thought, and that's because of his hard work and his dedication. He's provided some leadership down the line here with the season winding down, and you always see Jake working hard in a game, running out everything, whether it's a pop-up to shortstop or whether it's a ball in the gap. Jake's always going to go 110%. He's a player that's definitely going to be missed for his defense and his offense. Not really much of a vocal leader, but he's that player that provides that leadership by example, you know, with his dedication and hard work to the team.
He's one of those people you wouldn't want to mess with on the field because he puts that game face on. And
exactly. It seems to be Jake will be, you know, kind of happy-go-lucky in the locker room, and as soon as he steps out on the field, it's hard-nosed and don't talk to me when I'm playing because I'm going to go.
Yeah, you know, I think baseball especially lends itself to that kind of personality. Then there's Kurt Swanson, who's hitting .373 this year. You know, he's been a terrific offensive leader for your team.
Kurt doesn't necessarily have the power numbers that he might have had last year, but he's done a very, very good job of providing a consistent bat, you know, from the top of our order, with getting guys on base, driving guys in. He always provides that. And while he might not get the accolades that he had before without the home runs and the doubles and whatnot, but he still, with the high average, is doing exactly what we want guys to do at the top of the order, and that's drive guys in and get on base for the lower ones. And he's done a phenomenal job
with this season the way it is. How much of an effect has the new bats or the new rules that they've implemented in terms of the bats affected some of the power numbers that you see, not only for you guys but for most of the teams in the MIAC?
It's had a huge impact throughout college baseball. I know there's been a lot of studies done from the Division I level with their home run percentage being down. For us, we've definitely seen the effects as with, you know, many other teams in the MIAC. Balls that, you know, normally would be out of the ballpark are getting caught on the warning track, or it's one of those things that it's frustrating, but you realize everyone's dealing with it. You know, every single team is dealing with the same thing, and they're feeling the same pain. I think it's great for the game. I know Major League Scouts love it just because it's more similar to wood bats, and they've loved it. And I think it's one of those things that as a pitching coach, I like it too, because it's worked for us too. Some of those balls that have gone out against us are now being caught. I think it's great for the game because now you're seeing a lot of 3-0, 3-1, 5-3 games as opposed to the 15-10, you know, 11-10 games that we've seen in the past. I think it's great for college baseball.
Just a minute left here, Pat. One of the things I want to ask about is, you know, we've talked before about recruiting, but I would suspect in baseball What makes it especially tough is this is the time when most students now are committing to their college for next year. You're in the middle of a season. You have to try to scout some high school games as well. That's got to be tough to be coach and out on the road all at the same time.
It's tough now with the season winding down, and this is where the recruiting really starts to pick up. So it's very difficult. There's a lot of early mornings and a lot of late nights, a lot of calls being made. And it works either way, whether it's your heart gets broke with a player deciding to go elsewhere, or your day gets made with a player deciding to come. So it's a constant battle, and recruiting is something that never starts. So as soon as our season ends and we have our class, now we'll start for next year. So recruiting is definitely a large part of it, and it works both ways. It's happy and sad. So.
All right, well, that's going to do it for Pat's interview here on the Cardinals Nest. Pat, thanks for coming in again, and good luck. And I spared you any kind of last-minute hockey announcing for us.
Well, next year. Next year.
All right, stay tuned. Donny and I will be back to wrap things up on the Cardinals Nest right after this on HBC.
HD Next Sunday Concerts brings the biggest events in music right to your living room.
The Rolling Stones, Jack Johnson, Paul McCartney,
HD Next Sunday Concerts. Live life loud.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
What are you so excited about?
HBC's Refer a Friend promo. Do you have HBC?
No.
Well, that is a problem I can help fix and get a discount on my HBC account in the meantime.
How so?
When you refer a friend and they sign up for HBC services, you both get discounts. Not to mention great service and support from HBC.
We should tweet all our friends about Refer a Friend from HBC.
Great idea.
Tweet, tweet. Hey, you, tweet.
Oh, Robin, you're so behind the times.
And we're back to wrap things up on our last Cardinals Nest broadcast of this season. Donny and I will be back again in the fall with more Cardinals Nest action here on HBC. But now we'll talk about some of the non-sporting events coming up on the St. Mary's campus this weekend, actually. A lot of events going on here to kind of close out the academic year. And one of them, St. Mary's University organ students are presenting a recital and hymn sing that's free. It's open to the public from 12:30 to 1:30 on Friday, April 29th, so this Friday at Faith Lutheran Church, and that is free and open to the public. Also, the St. Mary's choirs will be performing at 7:30 p.m. this upcoming Saturday, April 30th. That'll be at the Chapel of St. Mary of the Angels on the St. Teresa campus, and there you see the ticket information at the bottom of the screen. And the annual Row, Ride, Run Triathlon. Normally, it's miserable weather. Let's hope this year is an exception. We'll wait and see. But it's the triathlon this Saturday at 9 a.m. Lake Winona. 61 athletes are registered, and there you see they've got a 2.5-mile row, a 14-mile ride, and a 3.1-mile run. Are you participating this year,
I
Donny?
am not participating this year. I have a little bit of work on Saturday, so I won't be participating.
All right. Finally, Masato, Japan is, of course, the city of Winona's sister city in Japan, and there's going to be a Masato Week coming up, and as part of that, St. Mary's is hosting a Japanese cultural event that'll be at St. Mary's from 6 to 8 p.m. There will be speakers, a variety of demonstrations. You're invited to attend that. That is free and open to the public. All right, that's going to do it for the Cardinals Nest for the 2010-2011 season. Thanks to Donny Nadeau for your help and support throughout the year, all of our guests who have been on, and of course, thanks to you for watching. So tune in again next year for another Cardinals Nest here on HBC.